When we think about the reactive nature of our choice, we're constantly looking at the results and the circumstances that we have outside of ourselves. And it's reflecting back into our mind. Our mind is reacting based on inherited knowledge around those things, okay? And it is inherited knowledge. This is not knowledge that you created. The way that you live your life, unless you have decided to design it and change it in a specific direction yourself, you're operating with the inherited knowledge of your ancestors. So when you experience something that is out in front of you as reality, and you experience it in your mind, the way you're experiencing it is based on what you were taught, how you were taught to experience that world. Now, here's where the big problem comes in for people when it comes to change. They don't realize what they're actually doing in order to significantly change. You're not taking the information outside of yourself and looking for a way to verify what you want to believe is true on the inside. You're taking information based in truth, and you're saying, this is what I'm going to believe. This is how I'm going to respond to my world and what I'm going to create, regardless of what the outside world is suggesting. And when I do that, and I do it without the ups and downs, like I do it one day, don't do it the next day, when I really sink it into my subconscious mind, my outside world will resemble my new inside belief. And it will do it 100%. If you look at the reactions, remember, with every reaction that you have, there's a story that goes with it. And for whatever reason, people seem to be unbelievably, like it's a compulsion to tell that story inside of them, right? Here's what happened on the bike yesterday, and here's what didn't go right, and here's this person that didn't show up for the call. And they want to express the negative about their experience or the way that it is in their experience. And that's the part that you have to subdue. Because if you don't subdue it, it's coming out of your mouth before you're even thinking about what it is that you're saying. And then when you do it, you're emotionally involved in the story again. And when you're emotionally involved in the story again, you strengthen it in your subconscious mind. When I worked with Proctor, he was so insistent about not getting into those stories that if you were to start telling one of those stories on a phone call, he would hang up on you. He was not going to be part of the story. It's like, here's what you have to change your belief to, right? To match what you want. And then you must start telling a story from the new place. And when you do that, your reality changes. These are not things that you do as a fun test. It has to become a way of life. If you stop giving, you're going to stop receiving what you want. And just with that example alone, right, whatever the amount is that you give away, you got to understand something. You are doing several things at once every time you give. Number one, you're blessing somebody else, and it's just coming from pure blessing. Remember, you're not giving because of what they did or didn't do, right? Whether they brought you your steak rare or well done, and you asked for it medium. You're not giving it based on what they did. You're not giving it based on the great Uber ride, or they carried your luggage up to your room. You're giving it just to give, just to bless another person. So just that alone is breaking the story of why we give, right? When you give a tip, that's a contract. That's a contract. When you give from your heart to just anybody, that is pure unadulterated giving. I want to bless somebody because I can. Now, when you do that, you've changed that person's life. Number one, it does not matter how they react to your giving. Because if it does matter how they react to your giving, again, you're trading. Oh, well, they wanted more, or that wasn't enough, or they didn't say thank you. It doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with you. Your job is to give. That's your job. Psychological law of reciprocity says that our job is to give to the universe, and rarely does it come back from the person that we gave it to. But the universe will always bring it back into your life. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. The universe will repay you, right? Will give you the equivalent of what you put out based on the open channels that you have in your life to receive. If you give it to a person that doesn't have the ability to give anything back to you, you're not going to get it from that person. They may not even have the emotional well-being to be gracious in that. It shouldn't matter. Because if you're really giving, it does not matter what they say or do with the money or anything else that you're giving. You're doing your part in the world by blessing other human beings. When you do get somebody that begins to cry and say you changed their life or you made their day or they can now feed their kids because you gave that, those things they start to become a reflection of just how great you are. Remember when we first did this exercise, I said, how many times a year do people look at you with tears in their eyes and say, thank you, you changed my life? Most people never get that. Never get that. So when you get that on a regular basis, what do you think it does to your self-esteem? You start to reflect back to yourself, I am a great person, a good person. Remember what the core wounds are? I'm not worthy and I'm not lovable. The idea when we're changing ourselves is that we change those core wounds from a fundamental level. We're recreating ourselves from our belief system, from the foundation all the way up. As an adult, I am empowered myself to recreate that. Because if I don't, unconsciously, I'm going through life wanting verification from somebody else, and you're not going to get it. You're going to get the verification of the core wound, right? That's when you go through life and other things that people do are pissing you off, or they're hurting your feelings, or you feel rejected, or you wonder why they did that, or you're disappointed. That's all a reflection of your core wound. When you interpret that with other people, that's a reflection of your core wound. And the reason that it feels painful in whichever way you interpret that feeling, right, is because you don't think you're enough. The emotion can't come out of nothing, right? It's attaching those behaviors that somebody else does, attaches to the emotion that you've got buried inside yourself. So when you're unconscious of what I'm explaining, you go through your life, and whether you're getting better emotionally and in your belief system or you're getting worse is a reflection of everybody else. Because it's like I become the interaction that I have with other people. And if you think about in business, business tests that in the most extreme way because you're faced with the idea of rejection every day. You're faced with the idea of a possible unhappy client every day. If those things then in turn, and you're doing, like most people don't get that every day because they go to their job, they come home, they feed their kids, they go to bed, they do the same thing over and over again their whole life. So they're not constantly putting themselves in a position where somebody says to them, no, I don't want what you have. All they're in is in an environment where everybody's complaining about the same crap every day, right? But a business person, you're putting yourself in the environment. You're going to get no's every day. Every business does. If that becomes a reflection of how you feel, you reinforce the negative. But see, then you're not choosing how you want to feel. Your job is to choose how you want to feel and to realize that you can choose how you feel. And if there's anything that I've ever found the most difficult in what I do for a living is to convey that message to another person of the power of their ability to choose. Because for so long, you've been living with emotions as a reaction as if you have no control over it. But that's not true. You have 100% control over it. But you'll write something positive on a sheet of paper and then something goes wrong and you feel like shit. Like, I don't have any control over this. I can't stop thinking this. I can't stop doing it. Yes, you can when you understand what you're doing in the process. You're focusing on it. Your job is to immediately turn the other way and focus on what you want to create. When something goes wrong and you feel bad, you should jump up and go, I am grateful for everything in my life. Everything is leading me in the direction that I want to go. And immediately start walking in that direction. Pick up the phone and make a sales call. Ask somebody for help. Encourage somebody on your team. Do something in the direction of the goal. That's the only way to rewire your subconscious. And in the rewiring of your subconscious, you're creating new beliefs, but they're beliefs that you're choosing. You're choosing those beliefs. I'm going to believe everything is a lesson in life. I'm going to believe that I'm grateful for everything. I'm going to believe that I'm a great person that has something wonderful to offer to everybody that I come in contact with. I'm going to believe that anything negative from another person is coming from pure ignorance on the part of that person and has nothing to do with who I am and the character of my being. I'm going to believe that the money is always here and I'm not going to stop until I manifest it in my life. Because I'm not going to have a life that represents anything of lack or poverty. I'm going to believe that I can pay my bills on time. I'm going to believe that I can go out and buy the truck, the car, the house, the trip, the shoes, whatever. And you put all of those things together in that direction every day. When you take these fundamentals, the way that you should view it is, because the way that we've been taught is read it, remember, and then move on to the next thing as fast as you can. With the fundamentals, the idea is that you keep them in front of you until it manifests as a reality in your life. Because until it does, you don't know it. You might be able to quote chapter and verse of all different kinds of books and great quotes and all of that. But ask yourself, is this a manifestation in my life? Is it easy to manifest money? Is it easy to make the sale? Is it easy to grow the business? Is it easy to do whatever it is that you need to do? Is that actually happening? Because if it's not happening, or it's not happening at the level that you want, you have to keep that fundamental in front of you constantly. What you're doing, what you're taking on in your life, these two things are true at the same time. One, you can manifest results very quick, right? We've all seen it now. We've all seen it. If a person will just change a little bit about what they're thinking and they will apply it in that direction, they will change that result quick. Because everything that you want's waiting to come into your life right now. It's like it's knocking, it's like it's sitting outside your front door and it's waiting for you to open the door. But the opening the door is what you choose to think and what you choose to focus on, okay? And at the same time, another truth is you're reversing, take your age, I'm 59 this year, right? If I was starting today, I'm reversing 59 years of generational programming, of inherited beliefs, inherited thoughts, inherited ways of being, inherited ways of emotionally reacting, inherited ways of engaging with other people. We know psychologically you can't change all of them at the same time. So Proctor used to say, pick the ones that are going to make the biggest difference in your life first. And that's a good idea because it also helps increase your belief system in other areas. But you take one or two at a time and you focus in and make it change. And then you pick a couple more and then a couple more and a couple more. So it takes time. There were all kinds of things in the 30 years that I've been studying that I put on the back burner to change because there were things that I thought were more important on the front to change those things first. So there's still things that I haven't changed, but it doesn't affect my life in a way where the big things are in jeopardy, right? What goal do you have in front of you that will give you most of everything else that you want? Money is one of them, right? Personal attitude change is a big one, a real big one. I did an interview yesterday. It won't be out for 4 or 5 weeks. And this woman was, I think she's 63, 64. She's a few years older than me. She was introduced to this material when she was 15. I'm like, shit, that, like that would have been great if I'd have known this at 15, you know? Not, I don't know if I would have used it or not, but anyway, she was introduced to it at 15. This is what she says to me. She goes, what do you say to people that say, well, I don't know if that's going to work. I doubt that. She's like, how do you turn their mind around? And I said, I don't. I don't waste my time with them at all. And she started cracking up. And she said, what if it's your spouse? I said, it's the same thing. You don't. I said, you can't change other people. I said, if there's one thing that I've learned that's 100% true is you can't change anybody. The only thing you could do is hold the door open for them and see if they walk through. If they don't, they don't. But you make yourself crazy trying to change somebody else, even if it's your family. The greatest advice I got was be an example of the change that you'd like to see them have in their own life, right? Cause a question in their mind. She said, I work with a lot of women that they're interior decorators. She said, and I tell them all the time, if the person sitting on the couch next to you in the evening can't say, I'm 100% in your corner for all the success that you want, you're sitting next to the wrong person. And I said, I agree with that 100%. There's so much truth that The partner you pick, whether it's a romantic partner or a business partner or whatever, those are some of the most important decisions that you'll ever make. Those things will make or break a person. But it's not just that. It's whoever else you're hanging around also, right? Jim Rohn's old thing was the five closest people that you hang around. Your income is the equivalent of the five closest people that you hang around. Being in this environment is more important than you could possibly imagine. Because even everything that we teach, everything that we go over, all the questions that you asked are exposing you to a different reality than any of us were born into, right? So we're doing all of it. We're reversing the input, we're reversing the reaction, and we're reversing the experience on the outside. You're in an experience where people are doing extraordinary things every day, every day, every day. This is the best investment you could ever make in yourself because you're taking care of yourself first every day. Without that, forget it. Forget it. The belief system that you have, okay, is not the one that has to rule you. The idea is that you choose what you're going to believe, regardless of what you see on the outside. I don't care what your situation is right now. Stop focusing on what you don't want and focus and believe. Like believe it's a verb too, right? It's not just a noun, it's a verb. I'm going to believe this is what's going to happen in my life, and I'm going to do what I say that I believe.